So every year, at around the end of November, some of our Christian siblings claim that there is a war on Christmas. Our president even campaigned on a promise to end this war on Christmas. Candidate Trump, you may remember, said, "If I become president, we're all going to be saying Merry Christmas again." Well, thanks to President Trump, we can all say Merry Christmas. Amen. We can wish people a Merry Christmas from Black Friday all the way through Christmas Day. But there's a problem. And that problem is that it's not Christmas. It's Advent. The progressive theologian Diana Butler Bass put it perfectly when she said that there is really no war on Christmas, because what we really have is a war on Advent. When we celebrate Christmas from Black Friday to Christmas Day, we completely miss the season of Advent. And Advent matters. The word Advent comes from the Latin word adventus, which means arrival. During Advent, which this year is from December 3rd today through December 24th, we don't yet celebrate that Jesus has been born. We await the arrival of Jesus. And our capitalist culture isn't very good at waiting, is it? We want to buy stuff now, and it wants us to feel a hit of excitement whenever we make a purchase. So our culture of consumerism wants to extend Christmas for as long as possible. Buy more stuff and feel good about it so that you will buy even more stuff. That's what secular Christmas of consumerism is all about. And it doesn't have much to do with Jesus. Advent is a time of waiting, but it isn't just passive waiting. It's a time of preparation, preparing our hearts and souls and minds for Christmas, for the birth of baby Jesus to enter into our world so that Jesus can be born in our hearts every day of our lives. Part of Advent preparation is to understand why Jesus needed to be born in the first place. Jesus, the Prince of Peace, was born because something was wrong in the world. Sometimes the world feels dark and painful, and sometimes God just feels absent from it all. The prophet Isaiah, in our reading that Bill read this morning, and his people suffered from systemic political oppression and violence. Empire after empire conquered the nation of Israel, and Isaiah hoped for the day that God would tear open the heavens and come down and set things right. And sometimes we feel just like Isaiah, that God is somewhere way out there, up in the heavens, so absent from what's happening here on earth. Sometimes it feels like Jesus hasn't been born yet, and sometimes we wonder, does God even care? This Sunday is the first Sunday of Advent. It's the Sunday where we light the Advent candle of hope. Isaiah's passage and our gospel passage don't seem very hopeful, do they? In our gospel passage, Jesus talks with apocalyptic language. He provides a warning about a day when the sun will be darkened and the stars will fall from heaven and there will be great suffering. It's not a text that's full of Christmas joy or Christmas hope, is it? But here's where we find Advent hope. Advent is a season of holy protest. It looks at the world and names what isn't right. It's often the case that the first step towards hope is in naming the things that aren't right. In the last few weeks, we've talked about a bit about politics and powers and principalities of injustice, and there are certainly more things that could be said about that. But today I want to tell you a more personal story about the holy protest of Advent and the hope that it offers. 4 years ago, I was a chaplain intern at a hospital in Eugene. I was called to the emergency department in early December, right at the beginning of Advent. I was called to the emergency department because a speeding car ran a red light and hit a man walking across the street. The 70-year-old man got caught on the roof rack, and the driver and the passenger drove off for 5 blocks with the man on the roof. Then they drove to a side alley, dragged the man off of the roof, and left him in the middle of the street to die. Fortunately, a neighbor saw the man and called 911. An ambulance took him to the hospital, and my job was to call the family. After many phone calls, we discovered the man was from Guatemala, and he was visiting his son and his 3 granddaughters. I met the family and did my best to console them. I talked with the son and his wife, and then I hugged the 3 granddaughters. One of the daughters was especially uncontrollable. She felt the pain in a way that none of the others did. The dad told me that she and her grandpa were especially close. In fact, this daughter's birthday was on December 17th, and she told her grandpa that the only thing she wanted for her birthday and for Christmas was to celebrate with him. So he took the flight from Guatemala to Portland to be with his family, but especially to be with his granddaughter during December. And I remember this girl, maybe 16 years old, sobbing through her hands, feeling the guilt and anger and despair flowing through her tears. At one point, her sister came, put her arm around her, and tried to comfort her with these words, "It's okay, it's okay, it's going to be okay." And this girl, sobbing in her hands, yelled out, "No, no, it's not okay." It's in those moments of darkness where God seems so absent from our lives. And yet, I couldn't help but feel that God was radically present in that room. God was there, present with that girl, screaming out, "No, this is not okay." And that girl in that moment taught me what Advent hope is all about. She was like the prophet Isaiah. She was like Jesus, who protested against the darkness. She refused to accept that this was okay. And this is why it's so important for us to not celebrate Christmas too quickly. Because we know that God is present with us in the light of Christmas. But it's only when we patiently go through the season of Advent that we begin to discover that God is also with us in the darkness. As the Gospel of John says, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. So as we prepare for the arrival of Christmas, as we decorate here at our church and at our homes, let us celebrate Advent too, as a reminder that God is with us in our darkness, and in our pain, and in our suffering. And may we be with one another too. Amen.
Hi everyone, this is Adam Erickson, reminding you that no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you are welcome at Clackamas United Church of Christ. We are located at 15303 Southeast Webster Road in Milwaukie, Oregon. Our worship service starts at 10:30 on Sundays, except for during the summer months we start at 10 o'clock. If you'd like more information on our church, you can visit our Facebook page or our website at c-ucc.org. You can also reach out to me through email at adam@clackamas.org. at c-ucc.org. Until next time, grace and peace be with you.